Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I'm really excited.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, about this idea that the mass consciousness is shifting to be
Yes.
slightly more positive than negative.
Yes.
It's
Tipping of
very-
the scales.
Tipping of the scales, yes. So I'd kind of like to amp that up.
Oh, all right. Go right ahead. Don't let us stop you.
So I'd like to know, how long has it been going on that it has been more negative than positive?
Thousands upon thousands of your years.
Thousands and thousands.
Since the idea of about the mid-Atlantean point in your history. So approximately, shall we say, 20 to 30,000 years?
Wow,
Wow.
that's a long time.
If you say so.
And now I'd like to know, this after the tipping point, which is really exciting to
Yes.
think about.
Yes.
What are some of the things that might, what are some indications? What are the things?
Depending on what part of the wave, what frequency of the wave of positive energy you are riding, you will experience more and more of the symptomologies we are describing. Time and space will become more flexible, bendable, malleable. That will be one of the strongest symptoms. Synchronicity will become far more prevalent. That will also be a very strong system of the acceleration. You understand?
Yes.
Now, please understand, you're not actually accelerating. You're already moving at infinite speed. What's happening is you're becoming more aware of that fact. So you experience that awareness as acceleration. Yes?
Right.
See the difference?
Yes.
Thank you. And one other important thing we have also recently begun to talk about. The idea of physical reality starts to take on qualities that are not so solid. You start to understand that what you perceive as physical solidity, solid objects, only appears solid. Now, I understand the scientific explanation, but that's not the point, because even your scientific explanation is still, in a sense, a symbolic representation of higher energy consciousness states of being. The idea, if you can allow yourself to wrap your imagination around this, what you call the experience, the sensation of solidity, is actually you using your indestructible nature to create an experience that seems solid. This is an indication that you are indestructible. Do you understand this? Is this translating into your concepts?
Yes.
What you call solid matter, because you know it's not solid, not really. So what gives it solidity is you, by simply imbuing it with your indestructible nature as a spirit, as a consciousness. That's what solidity is. Does this help?
Yes, that helps.
So all of these and more will be the idea of the symptomologies that are experienced in the tipping of the scales and the accelerating of more and more positive energy as you shift through more and more series of parallel realities that are far more representative of the vibrational change you have made within yourself.
And what kind of changes those are individual experiences on a mass consciousness level. What kind of changes?
It's all the same.
It's
Remember, as we said, you never actually change the world.
right.
You simply take yourself, you shift yourself to another series of parallel realities that are already more representative of the vibrational change within yourself, which means that that parallel earth simply already contains versions of all the other people that have also shifted themselves to that parallel reality that you've agreed will be your new mass conscious expression experience. Remember, this is all taking place in your consciousness.
Right.
The world isn't really out there.
Right.
Yes?
Right. Yes.
So, when you say, what changes will take place in the mass consciousness? Again, really, nothing in that context is changing. The change is your perspective. So, what will take place in the mass consciousness is to share another perspective of another reality that already exists that's more representative of the change in the agreement between all the individuals in the collective. Does that answer your question?
Partly. Not quite.
Mass consensus, mass consciousness is a consensus idea.
Right.
You have to share, agree to share, a particular experience of a collective reality. Yes?
Yes.
So, when a variety of individuals in that collective reality decide to shift themselves to a parallel reality that is similar to one you have decided to shift to, you will still perceive each other by agreement. We both have an aspect. We have both decided, we have both agreed that we each have an aspect that already exists in that parallel earth that is more representative of the shift we have made within ourselves, the change we've made within ourselves. So you recognize that that's been done by agreement. And with everyone in that reality, it's been done by individual agreement to create for themselves a version or shift themselves to a version of that reality experience that's similar enough to the one you chose so that you are within a window of description or definition that allows you to perceive them by creating your version of them in that reality. That way you are told that others have also shifted themselves to a similar vibrational reality. Is that making sense?
That makes sense, yes. Yes.
All right. Did that answer your question?
No, well, it's an answer, but
What are you looking for?
What I'm looking for is, I'm looking for indicators, like the tipping, the tipping.
Yes.
So what appearances, what...
Did I not explain?
Not specific.
Do you know what synchronicity is?
I do, so...
That's one of the indicators.
Okay.
More synchronicity.
More synchronicity.
Yes. That's one of the indicators. More slippage in space-time. I'll give you a concrete example. All right?
Sure.
This actually happened to the channel. So you will understand that I'm telling you a story of something that actually happened in your reality physically. Yes?
Yes.
And this is an indication of a slippage in space and time, so to speak. Actually, what it is, in a sense, more precisely, is a skipping over of certain frames, certain parallel realities that the channel simply didn't agree to experience. Yes?
Yes.
The channel, as you say, coincidentally enough, happened to be in the area, generally speaking, that the channel is in now, at one time in what you call the past, and was going to meet a friend who would drive to the motel, pick him up, and go to lunch. Yes?
Yes.
Following me?
Yes, yes.
All right. Now, neither the channel nor the friend knew anything about the area whatsoever. Didn't know how to get to the place they said they were going to go for lunch. So they decided they will stop at the front desk of the hotel and ask the person at the front desk, how do we get to this place? The person at the front desk very cheerfully gave them explicit directions as to how to get there. And so they took off, followed the directions, and got there and had lunch. When they were on their way back, and they, in a sense, retraced their steps, they suddenly found themselves on your freeway miles away from where they started. And they go, wait a minute, how did we get here? And so they turned around, went back to the hotel, and decided to follow the directions again, step by step, which were actually very simple, nothing complicated at all, and found that by following those directions, you can't actually get to the place they got to. But they did anyway, because they so believed the person at the front desk was telling them the accurate directions, they just got there. But following those directions, for most of you, would simply not get you there. It's simply not physically possible according to the way you think of physical reality typically. Therefore, those are the kind of slippages in space and time that we're talking about as an indicator of when you're operating in a true, in-the-moment state. Do you understand?
Yes.
In total trust of whatever information you've been given, and you simply act on it in absolute belief, absolute knowing that that is so. And when you do that, then that is so. Period. It doesn't matter what space and time have to say about it. Space and time are your creations. And they will alter themselves and bend themselves in your consciousness and become very fluid and very flexible when you say, truly, this is so. Then it is so. So that is another indicator And there are many more indicators. One very strong one also will be that what you call the so-called veil or barrier between the living and the dead, not so thick anymore. More communication with spirit. More understanding, true experiential understanding, that people that have died have not died. They've just walked into another room of a different frequency. And you will still be able to communicate with them more and more and more and more. That's another indicator of the acceleration of energy consciousness. Is this helping?
Yes, thank you.
Is that painting a clearer picture for you?
Yes, it is. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank